First of all,
brace yourself.
Minimum limit.
Maximum fun.
Backpackinglight.co.uk.
The UK's first outdoor podcasting show.
Hello and welcome back to another podcast sponsored by backpackinglight.co.uk. Well, everybody's been talking about it and we all know it. The weather does seem a little bit strange, but are we going to complain? Let's face it, it's April, come May time. We're getting lovely sunny days at the moment, slightly cooler evenings, but we can live with that. And it's absolutely perfect outdoor weather. So I hope you and your friends are enjoying a little bit more outdoor activity as the weather treats us all so well. There's an event coming up soon which I'm going to be attending, which is the Backpackers Club AGM weekend up at Bellingham on the Pennine Way, and that's April the 27th, 8th and 29th. I shall be there with a carload full of goodies, one of which I want to tell you all about here, which is I've just discovered, which is absolutely brilliant. And there's a whole pile of other bits and bobs I'm going to be bringing along as well. Now, the Backpackers Club AGM is open to anybody. So if you're in the area, it's actually on the Pennine Way, so you can actually combine it with a nice long walk, park your car somewhere, come down the Pennine Way, pop into the Backpackers Club, join us on the campsite. It's a nominal amount on the campsite, and then you can walk back the following day and pick the car up, so it could make for a perfect weekend, especially if the weather stays the way it is. But they tell me you'll be assured of a warm welcome, and the campsite is right next door to the main street there, so it's not very far away from the old liquid refreshment. Well, with more about the AGM in a second, and what I'll be taking you along. One thing I have discovered recently is a stove, a little meth stove, made by White Box alcohol stoves over in the States, and they make them for gossamer gear. Now, I don't know how I came across this, but I'm forever hunting around for goodies, and I've got one here in front of me. And I was just really impressed, because normally these sort of handmade meth stoves, if you like, can be a little bit on the fragile side, particularly the sort of Coke can variety, and I didn't want to introduce people to those. However, these ones are made out of a much sort of sturdier recycled bottle, and it was the recycled part of it that actually appealed to me most of all. But it's got a fantastic write-ups on the different websites. And it's made for gossamer gear by White Box Stoves. Anyway, I managed to track down the manufacturer, a lovely chap called Bill Ballou, and I got him on the phone not so long back to ask him how it all came about. But before I play the interview, let me just say this stove weighs 30 grams, and it's sturdy, it's chunky, it'll take a bit of abuse. It comes with a lovely thin aluminium windshield and reflector, which weighs another 30 grams, which you can or can't use if you choose to, or not, as the case may be. But the stove is strong enough that it is also the pot support. And I've put the Vargo tea-light mug on it, and that is just about wide enough. The base needs to be a bit wider, because although this stove is a small, narrow stove, it's only sort of 60mm diameter and 55mm high. The flames, instead of coming out the top of the stove, the flames come round the outside and form quite a big spread. You'll see that on the website if you have a look on the website. But the heat that it kicks out is phenomenal, and it will boil a pint of water in 6 or 7 minutes. It's got to be one of the most efficient stoves I've seen. So I got Bill on the phone and asked him to give us some background and how he actually came about producing these stoves.
Well, as a backpacker, I wanted to go lightweight, and I did a little research on stoves, and I started making some out of beverage cans, regular pop cans, or beer cans, and those went over well. And then I found this new model can, this aluminum bottle that's a lot heavier, a lot more durable, and took me about 3 or 4 months to develop this particular style of stove, and it's just been a good marketing product.
Now, I understand that sometimes your neighbours get a bit concerned that you're the local tramp because you've been going into the into the refuse boxes to find these bottles.
Right. Yeah. All these bottles are recycled, either from the local taverns or out of our refuge containers. So that helps the environment too.
Well, I've got one in front of me now, the one you sent over, and it's a lovely tool. But the one thing that really amazed me was the amount of heat that comes off it when it gets going.
Yeah, it's a hot burner, one of the hottest burning alcohol stoves made, and just the particular design and the type of bottle, it just works super.
So what makes it so efficient? I don't really understand the science behind some of these meths design stoves.
Well, I don't either, other than, I probably made 25 different models before I ran, developed this one. And, different size hole patterns and flames and everything just all went together with this one stove. So it works pretty good, though.
And I understand that Gossamer Gear are very big customers of yours in the U.S.
They are, yeah. We started a partnership back in February, and they've sold a couple hundred since then. So
they're going well, certainly. No, I know you're a fisherman and you enjoy the fishing life. Do you take one of these stoves with you to have a brew with you when you're out fishing or cooking the catch?
Well, I don't cook fish on them, but it's a daily thing. We'll take some noodles and just rehydrate them, in hot water, boil some water, and have hot soup right on the shore. Of course, I use these when I go backpacking all the time too.
So what kind of food do you eat then? Because this does turn. I tested it the other day, and I think it converted a pint of cold water into a real good hot boiling water in about 6 or 7 minutes, which I found incredible, really.
Yeah.
So how do you use it? What's your cooking and eating system?
Well, when I'm in the backcountry, I just take a regular cook pan and boil water, and all my food is dehydrated that I use when I go backpacking.
So you boil the water and put the food in, or how do you work it? Because we do things slightly differently over in the UK. Yeah,
I carry a plastic bowl that's insulated with a pot cozy. I don't know if you're familiar with those.
Yeah.
And the dry food goes in there, and the boiling water goes in, and in 10 minutes you have a hot meal.
Right. So you boil the water, put it in with the food in a container, and seal it up in the cozy for 10 or 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Excellent. And do you dry your own food, or is that commercially bought?
No, it's commercial. I'll buy your backpacker meals.
Yeah. Yeah. So what sort of backpacking activities do you do yourself then?
Well, I've done a lot through Glacier Park up here. I've hiked over 300 miles of trails in Glacier. I started the Continental Divide Trail 2 years ago, and I've got about 250 miles of that walked. We have a big wilderness, the Rocky Mountains here, Bob Marshall Scapegoat, Spotted Bear Wilderness, and I've walked several hundred miles in that backcountry. My trips run anywhere from 3 to 10 days in the backcountry.
Oh, and what sort of gear do you take with you? Obviously, you take your cooker with you, but what else do you take? Sort of shelter and so on.
Well, I take a single-man tent. I have a Hilleberg Acto for an all-season tent. Obviously, a lightweight sleeping bag, a Marmot Hydrogen 30-degree bag, and just, a smattering of personal clothing items is about all I take with me.
Excellent. And do you take your fishing gear with you as well?
I do, yeah. I always like to fish the little streams and backcountry lakes. This last summer, my backpack for 10 days weighed 34 pounds.
Okay, and the fishing gear, as a matter of interest, do you choose a lightweight? Is there a lightweight model fishing kit in the States, or do you take a standard fly rod?
No, I take a 4-piece 8.5-foot rod. It's a 4-weight. Most of the fish you catch are pretty small, but the rod and reel weigh, like 5 ounces. It's a pretty light outfit. But
Fantastic.
it works really good. It packs small, and it's good for those little creeks and stuff.
Now, you sent me some pictures over the last couple of days of some fabulous fish that you'd caught near you, and you made it sound like you nip off every 2 or 3 days to do some fishing. Is this true?
Yeah. This time of year, the big trout are spawning, so they're in close to shore, and they're fun to catch. I've been up, I think, 3 or 4 times already, and it's just starting to get good here in the next week or two. So.
Brilliant. So, what do you think were your thoughts on the white box stove then, as it develops? Will it change very much in design, or do you think you've pretty well got it perfect now? Because the kit comes with the stove and the heat reflector and the windshield, all of which are very, very light aluminium, and the whole lot fits inside a cookpot nicely. But do you think it'll move on at all, the design?
Unless these big companies are making these aluminum bottles change, I don't have any intention of changing my design. I started out earlier with a pop can type stove, but this side burner aluminum bottle, I mean, it just works really good.
Did you find that those pop can ones were a little bit unstable and also a bit dangerous in use?
Well, I didn't have any danger with them at all, but they're easy to crush. They're so lightweight, you drop your pack on them and they're ruined. But this new stove, pretty hard to break it.
Lovely. Well, we'll look forward to seeing where the design goes if you suddenly have any change of supplier. I presume if the diameter of the original item changed, either larger or smaller, it would obviously affect the construction. But would that really affect the heat output very much, do you think?
Well, I think so. Especially on the burner holes, if I went too small, it had a real hard problem lighting and staying lit. And so we went from a real small hole to a larger hole, and this one, it was just, after about 20 different hole designs and patterns and sizes, this is the one that just worked the best.
And how long does each one take you to make when you sort of originally source the bottle out of the trash can?
I can make one in about 12 minutes.
Oh gosh.
Well, I've got some, I've got a big bandsaw that does a lot of the work, and so it just, in a drill press, it does a lot of the trimming of the metal and stuff. But 12 or 13 minutes, I can make a pretty good stove. So.
Well, it's superbly made in that period of time. It obviously leaves you plenty of time to go fishing.
That's correct. Yeah. I think you'll sell a lot of them over there.
What a lovely chap there, Bill Ballou from White Box Alcohol Stoves, giving you a bit of background behind it, and he was speaking to us live from Montana, in between fishing. You should see some of the pictures of the fish he's caught. They're absolutely A, big, and B, fabulous. But anyway, let's move on. I just want to say that those white box stoves should be arriving with me any day now, and I'll be bringing them up to the Bellingham meet, and of course backpackinglight.co.uk are the only distributors of these stoves. So if you want to swap your old Transia for something a little bit sexier and giving out probably more heat than a Transia, then do consider it. So let's move on to the Bellingham weekend. Although I was away during the outdoors show, Andy was holding the fort nicely, I did get the feedback from a lot of people that there actually, once again, wasn't an awful lot of lightweight gear there. So what I've done is taken upon myself to gather some items together which I think will be of interest to people and take them up to Bellingham. Now, I know various other people are going to be there as well, so we've all tried to complement each other to make sure we've got a nice little presentation for everybody who wants to come along. So I'm going to just give you a bit of a rundown of what I'm hoping to take, and so if you're actually wanting to get your hands on some of this new lightweight products and have a play, then this might be the place to do it. First of all, as you know, we're Go Light distributors, and we've got all the new Go Light rucksacks in, the Pursuit, the Quest, the Jam 2, and the incredibly popular Pinnacle. That is proving to be one very, very popular rucksack, and it's easy to see why, because it takes the best out of the Gust rucksack, I think, and the Trek, and combines the two together to give you a pretty substantial lightweight rucksack with a lot of nice little features on it without going too far over the top. Of course, the Go Light range includes their range of tents as well, so we'll have a handful of items of those up for you to see and actually consider if a single skin tent is the way that you want to go. But sometimes, unless you see these things all lined up together, it's very hard to compare one against the other. Moving on to Gregory, we got the new Gregory Z pack and the Jade, and the 35 litre pack as well, so we hope to bring in some of those along for you to see and have a look at and try those on. And then in the Lightwave, we do Lightwave as well. We've got the Lightwave rucksacks to come along, and also some Crux rucksacks to try on. A lot of these are just samples for people to have a look at and have a feel of and see if they're wanting to change their current equipment. Plus we've got about 8 or 10 of the Lightwave tents, the T1, T0s, T2s, G2s and so on, in different formats, and you can once again experience and compare them like for like, which I think is pretty useful. Now, I've been speaking to those nice guys over at Woodland Organics, and they're a great bunch of guys, very dry and witty, but they do distribute a real mix of stuff, and some of it is they've got the Hennessy hammock. Now, I'm not sure if many people have actually tried hammock camping. I've done it a couple of times, and it's an acquired art, not least that you need a couple of trees, of course, but it's sort of quite popular in Europe and certainly over in the States. So I'm bringing one of those along, and if I can find a couple of trees there, I'll string it up and see what people think about using that as a different camping option. They've also given me some new products that they've got coming through at the moment, which will be interesting, sort of cooking items and some new titanium cooking bits from the ever-new range, and the very interesting and controversial skins, which seems to be cropping up on a regular basis on different people's blogs, like Romans and Darren's and John Key's, which are, how should we put this? They're condoms, basically. They're condoms for phones and electronic gear, and you slide your phone into it and roll the thing over it and twist it and turn it back, and it gives you a temporary waterproof covering for your gear that might be a little bit sensitive to the damp weather, shall we say, but allows it still to function. But at the end of the day, that's what they look like, so let's not hide from the fact. They also distribute a couple of interesting lighting products which I'll bring along as well. One called the Firefly, which is a 3 LED lid, replacement lid for a Nalgene pot. And you fill the Nalgene pot full of water, put this lid on top, switch the light on, and it becomes a very interesting lantern. And because of the water refraction, generates this lovely soft glow in a tent, which is quite sweet. And they also do this little 9-volt thing called the Pack Light, which is well, it fits. It's a 2 LED lamp which is luminous. Let's do that again. It's a 2 LED head which clips onto a standard 9-volt battery, and it's just got a simple on-off switch on the side. Obviously, because it's a 9-volt battery, it will last for thousands and thousands of hours, but also the head is luminous as well, so if you were to use that in a tent or for whatever reason, when you switch it off, at least you can still find the torch again for the next few hours, because it's the luminosity of the head, and that's quite a sweet little device, and I'll be bringing some of those along as well. So those are 2 really useful nighttime devices. What else have we got? This is quite interesting. We also contacted XBED. Now, I'm not sure if you know this, but XBED actually do a range of tents. They're not particularly well known, possibly because not many people have seen them, I suppose. But anyway, I've spoken with them, and I'm hoping to get a handful of tents from them to bring them along and show that range as well. Certainly the one-man, two-man varieties are all I'm interested in at the moment, in bringing along to the Backpackers Club, because presumably that's what most people are hoping to carry. There's also MSR as well. MSR do an interesting range of one-man, two-man tents. They do the Hubba, and the what do they call it? The final, I forgot what it's called now. It's a wedge-shaped tent that's supported by 2 walking poles that actually gives you a mammoth amount of space inside it, which is quite useful. Sorry, I've forgotten the name of that one. So I'm hoping to bring some of those along as well. And then we have various items from OMM. I think Mike from OMM was going to be there anyway, so he'll be able to tell you and give you answers to all his products should you have any questions. But we've got the very, very popular last few of the 30-litre Girashankers, and they're going to be, I think, probably fairly popular, probably because of the price. We've also got an exclusive short supply, actually, from Gregory rucksacks as well. Well, that's enough of the hard sell. Suffice to say that I'm going to be bringing along as many goodies and interesting items, specifically in the lightweight arena, for hopefully an appreciative audience. And I know all the other people attending as well, with stands and so on, will be doing exactly the same. So if you have a free weekend that weekend, the 27th, 28th, 29th of April, do pop up to Bellingham, and of course you've got the Pennine Way there to have a quick play on as well, should you decide to go for a walk. So it could be a really nice weekend, especially if the weather holds the way it is at the moment. Now on Backpacking Light, we've been fairly busy, as you can imagine, with most shops at the moment, with all this spring stock coming in, all the updated equipment, and obviously you've got to update the website and so on, which takes a while. I've also been out doing a lot of filming of new products, and also filming of products generally for the outdoorstation.co.uk, which a lot of people will know that I'm obviously actively involved in and trying to promote. Now, it's been mentioned before, but it doesn't do any harm to mention it again. Those programs which are appearing on the Outdoor Station are free for people to include and incorporate into their blogs or websites, and that includes shops as well as bloggers. So if anybody's selling any items and we're producing films supporting those items, they can include that into their website free of charge, and it helps them hopefully sell more product and therefore educate people and explain some of the features and benefits of certain items. And we hope to be including and increasing that range as time goes by this year with a vengeance. But in the meantime, I'm going to get myself sorted now and made my list out of all the goodies that we're going to bring along. I've got to find myself a big enough boot and box to put it all in, and I look forward to meeting you all up at Bellingham for the AGM weekend. As I say, it is free to come along to, so if you've got some time, do join us. Cameron will be there, a whole variety of other people will be there as well, several bloggers are going to be there, and we're looking forward to having a really enjoyable couple of days and evenings chilling out in, fingers crossed, this sensational spring weather. So until I see you, take care everyone, and speak to you next time. Bye for now.
Oh, that was good.
Backpackinglight.co.uk.
Go lighter, go faster, go further.
To subscribe to our show, please follow the instructions on our website or search for us in the iTunes directory.
Thank you, and good night.